Welcome to 9 exercises to master public speaking. In the previous video, we talked about 3 beginner exercises, how to sound confident in your tone, the importance of tempo, so going fast and going slow, and then also positive nonverbal body language. That's eye contact, having a smile, and also having open body language. In this next intermediate series of 3 exercises, the difficulty level is increasing, and the last of these 3 does build upon these 3 beginner exercises on screen. So if you haven't watched them yet, I highly recommend you watch part 1 first before proceeding. Let's jump right into part 2 then. So here are our 3 intermediate exercises. The first one's going to be about vocal release, how to have clear vocal projection that's also powerful. We're going to be talking about emotions, how to have contrasting emotions, and just keep your audience so engaged in what you have to say. And then last but not least, we're going to be having a challenge for you where you have to talk about something boring, but make it interesting. And by combining all the techniques that we've demonstrated so far, you'll be able to do just that. There are 2 essential aspects of vocal release. The first one being what's going on with your vocal box, or otherwise known anatomically as your larynx. What's going on in this area? So if we're talking conversationally at a low volume and you're not nervous, you feel relaxed, there's a good chance that the airflow is going to be going well and your vocal box is not going to be constricted. However, all too often, when we get nervous, or if you need to raise your volume, let's say you're talking to an audience of people, you want to make sure what you're saying gets heard, even to those way in the back, then you'll need to raise your volume. And if you don't know what to do with your vocal box, your voice is going to start getting constrained. So I want to show you an example of that so you can hear it exactly. So first I'll start with a bad example and then a good example. So listen for when my voice starts to get constrained. I'm going to say the word ayo, and then I'm going to increase the volume of that. Ayo, 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 ayo. All right, so that was really bad, especially towards the end, right? Now I'm going to do the same thing, increasing that volume, but not getting constricted. Ayo, ayo, ayo. I'm sure you could hear the difference. So how did I do that, right? There's a couple ways you can look at this and practice this. First off, it's great to take a phrase, hello, hello, really any phrase. I like 2 syllables. I personally like ayo. And start low where you know and hear you're not constricted, and then gradually start increasing the volume. You might want to do this in a park when no one's there, or if your confidence is super high, do it anywhere. But this is really key so that you're prepared to know how to open up your vocal box. And then another secret tip, a way you can think about this physiologically is when you breathe in and out and you put your fingers on your throat, so in, out, feel how your throat feels when you breathe out. You can probably feel the slightest tension there because air is going through, but a challenge to open up your vocal box is when you breathe out, to imagine that you're expanding your throat. And while on video, I just did it, it can be hard to see. You'll feel it when you put your fingers on your throat once you're doing it right. So you breathe in, and then try to expand your throat as you breathe out. Once you feel it, once you feel your throat bulge open, you know you're doing it. So practice that, and then when you're doing your phrase, ayo, you can be mindful of opening up your throat. You won't always have to keep your fingers there. You'll know once you're doing it. And then the more you practice this, the easier it'll become. Eventually you'll think, oh, I just need to do the throat opening thing. And then before you know it, it'll be subconscious. You don't even have to think about it anymore. And then your voice is just powerful and clear. Next aspect of vocal release is chest breathing versus diaphragm breathing and support. I learned about this when I was in middle school and high school, and I was thinking about joining the military. I was part of a group that's similar to ROTC, but a little bit different. It's called Civil Air Patrol. In the United States, it is an opportunity to prepare yourself for the Air Force. I ultimately didn't go to the military, but I did learn a really valuable speaking exercise and technique because I became a drill sergeant. I had to project my voice to a lot of people, make sure they heard me clearly, and also very importantly, as I was saying things like forward, march, left face, and other military terms in a loud voice, I learned how to not strain my voice and then not get a sore throat the next day because I was pushing myself too hard. So how to sound more powerful and also to conserve my vocal stamina. And the way I did that is by speaking from the diaphragm. So here in this picture, you have a red circle around the lungs and then a blue circle around the abdominal stomach area where your diaphragm is. There's a red circle around the lungs because we want to gradually be moving away from that. So what is the natural breathing pattern? It's to breathe in and out through our chest. So you breathe in, our chest rises, and as we breathe out, our chest falls. However, the air you come in to your body and then the air you breathe out can be so much more powerful if instead of having your chest rise and fall, as you breathe in, you let your abdominal area expand. So you breathe in, let your abdominal area expand, and then as you breathe out, you also contract the abs. I learned this to play saxophone, how to have more clear airflow. I did the vocal box expansion exercise as well when I play saxophone. And this also applies to not only being a drill sergeant, but being an effective speaker. In order to demonstrate what it can look like to speak from the diaphragm with that kind of support, let me show you how in a bigger view so you can see what my abdominal area is doing while I talk instead of just my face in this bubble. Show you this demo. I switched to my iPhone. As you can see behind me, there's a little behind the scenes of how I make the videos. But anyways, let's jump into this. So we're moving away from chest breathing, where when we inhale and exhale, the chest inhales, gets bigger, and then the chest, when you exhale, goes down. We want to practice breathing in a way where when we inhale, the abdominal area expands, and then when we exhale, it contracts. So first do that breathing a couple times to get used to that. I'll show you one example. What I recommend is when you're first getting used to this, use your hand on your belly. I think it makes you more mindful of that motion. And then the next way that we're going to level up this exercise is as you contract your abdominal area, we're going to be saying a projection phrase like ayo. So let's do that, and remember to take a good inhale before. On your own, do several rounds. We'll do one round together. Ayo. And then there's another level up for this exercise when you're ready, and that's going to be that as you're projecting, can you be mindful of your vocal box and think, am I being constricted here, or am I projecting clearly? You got this. Next up, let's talk about how leveraging the power of emotions can make you a way more captivating and interesting speaker. Think about this. There's a movie, and from the very beginning, the main character is perfect at everything. She is just flawless. Whatever she does, no challenge, and she just wins at everything she does. And then in the middle part of the movie, she keeps winning and her life is perfect. And then for the movie finale, she is the same. She continues to be great at everything she does and she doesn't experience any hardship. So that might not be your favorite movie. And it's not a surprise because we actually like to watch people go through hardship, go through challenge, and then persevere and then emerge victorious from that. And it's the same with emotions. So when you're speaking about something, it's true that your story might be overall positive or overall negative, But if you can be mindful to throw in different contrast of emotions, it's kind of like a movie. It adds a lot more color to your story and naturally makes people more interested. So let me show you an example of how that might work. So let's say I'm talking about making YouTube videos. I might start on an upbeat, positive note, and I might say something like, I'm so excited to be making weekly YouTube videos for you. And I might talk about that some more. But then I might want to bring in a negative emotion because it adds contrast. It makes the speech more interesting. So then I might say, but you know what, to be honest, sometimes it's hard to make time to make these videos. Life gets really busy. I've had so many doubts about whether this is going to work out or if I'm going to be successful. But then you can switch to positive. But you know what? I believe in this. I think that through repetition, continuing to upload videos, and a year from now, it's going to pay off. And in fact, it's already paying off. I'm so glad that by the time of this video, I have over 50 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. So that is kind of a flow of how you can do that. Now, even simpler, before you start incorporating that into a story, you can practice this by just thinking of an emotion and then trying to express it through words and whatever comes to mind. And really, go through different emotions, negative and positive, not just the positive. So, angry. Ah, this day is terrible. Sad. Why even try? It's kind of like hopeless, right? Whatever comes to mind. Upbeat. Oh yeah, let's get going. And really try to feel that. You might need to think of the emotion mentally, kind of feel that for a moment, maybe even visualize a scene that makes you feel that emotion, right? Like let's say confused. I might even close my eyes for a moment, think about myself being confused, and then I say it. Where do I go next? Should I do this or that? That moment of pause can help you tap into that emotion better. And then eventually, the more you practice this, the easier it'll be to have contrasting emotions into your stories. Your stories are going to be so much more interesting and easy to listen to, and it's going to be more like a movie. So this is a very powerful technique. Then for this last exercise of the intermediate exercise series of this video, this is kind of like a combine all we've been learning before into one. So from boring to interesting, if for this challenge you talk about something naturally interesting, it makes it a little bit too easy. Remember, this is the intermediate series, not the beginner series. The difficulty is rising to make you an even better speaker. So if you were to talk about, let's say, going to France and about all the delicious food that you ate and the macaroons and then the presentation and it was beautiful and amazing, that's too easy. So I challenge you to do this exercise thinking about something that you would normally think is kind of boring. So here in this photo, we have someone talking about a laundry machine. So in this example, I'll demonstrate to you how we can use some of the techniques we've been learning and use it to talk about something really boring like doing your laundry. So this is also going to incorporate the beginner exercises that we went over in the previous video. So just a refresher, we went over confident tonality, we went over tempo, we also went over positive nonverbal body language. In this video, your challenge is to incorporate contrasting emotions, and then before that, to speak with expansion, to speak with clear vocal projection from the diaphragm, and then have a clear vocal box. You know, as I'm doing this speech, having positive nonverbal body language and having clear vocal projection, those things I'm doing throughout and I'm doing right now. But those others, check this out. Yesterday, I did my laundry. I put in the clothes, and as I was putting them in, it felt kind of grimy. Like I dropped it in and then, something kind of touched my finger. So I was just using tempo right there. So I said, I put in the clothes and then it's kind of fast and then something slow touched my finger. And also, let's throw an emotion. When I do the laundry and then put it in the dryer and then fold it, my wife is very particular about how to fold the laundry. So I like to just fold things quickly and then shove them in. But then sometimes she'll come over and say, no, that's not neat. Come on, fold it in the 3-part method that I just showed you here. So here I just added in an emotion. It's like a splash of negative, right? So I'm saying I'm just doing the laundry, and then my wife comes in and says, no, you're not folding that correctly. But I'm not just saying it, I'm also trying to convey that emotion. So when my wife says, no, you're not supposed to do that laundry. Now, I'm kind of saying it comedically. Even I could do a better job there. What if I want to convey that she's genuinely upset? I might say, when she says that, Luke, what are you doing? This is not how we're supposed to fold laundry. I think you can feel the emotion being conveyed there. So look at that. We already did tempo. We already did emotion contrasting. And then last but not least, there is tonality. So I told you that when you want to say something confidently, the last syllable of what you say, you want to speak with a downward projection. Let's say I want to persuade you to switch from liquid detergent to solid detergent, like powder detergent. So I might say, and what I found through a lot of research online is that liquid detergent sometimes includes toxins. So powder detergent can be more healthy for your skin, and you'll feel better. And then if you have any itchiness, this could be a good decision for you. I drop it there. So your challenge now, think about something boring. It could be walking to the bus stop. Anything. Try to make it more interesting. And this might feel strange, but this is so powerful because before you know it, you'll realize that you can talk about really boring aspects of your day, you might think. Like, should I even talk about this? But if you're actively applying the techniques that we've been learning, then you'll notice people leaning in, really listening, and that is a superpower that you're going to be glad to have. You can now give yourself a pat on the back because you just got through the intermediate exercise series. And now you can look forward to the next video on advanced exercises. We're going to be covering a common parachute that holds so many of us back when it comes to speaking, and we're often not even aware of it. So I'm going to show you what you can do next to get over that. I'm also going to be going over another important aspect of tension and how advanced speakers are able to project their voice so well, but also stay loose and have great stamina when it comes to standing up and speaking. And then last but not least, we're going to be talking about the art of improvisation, how to get better at that, how to talk about anything without preparation, and also you'll get to hear about my warm-up regarding that I like to do before every video, before every speaking event that gets me in the zone, gets me feeling confident and expressive. To watch that next video on advanced techniques, click the video on the screen. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Until next time.